Right.
like,
Okay. Cool.
just as long as you glance at it here and there, you're good.
Right.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Pole Truth. Um, don't forget, tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth.
Right.
I am excited. I know I say that every show,
I believe.
but I am everybody that comes on, I'm genuinely excited because it's either A, I haven't seen them forever, and I'm glad for them to support me and do this.
Right.
But I am genuinely excited about this because you know how I am.
Right.
I don't, the girls that come in, I don't, it's not that I don't like them, but I'm not here to get close with anybody, make any friends.
Right.
But me and you genuinely hit it from the get-go.
Right. Yeah. It's probably a light skin thing.
Yeah, I don't know. But I am sitting here with the oh so lovely Riley. I know there is like a little drastic change in her pictures that I posted, but honey, girl got thick on the bitch.
I did.
She got thicky with thick.
I upped my fighting weight a little.
Listen,
I'm saying
like, so do you say to yourself, I wish I was this weight when I was dancing?
Sometimes, yeah. I think I would have made a little bit more money. Probably.
You think so?
Yeah. Because a lot of times people be like, "You're so skinny."
Yeah.
You know, I probably was around at the most maybe 140.
Yeah.
With muscle.
Yeah. But that's what you were muscle.
Right.
You were muscle.
I like to do tricks. So I had to be strong to lift on up there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, good God. I sent her a message. It was like, I was like, bitch, listen here.
Right.
You done got a bitch sweating. Like, look, I can't say if I was a lesbian because I like bitches. So
I'm glad every time. It never fails. So
I did get a message about your tattoo. Mm-hmm. Somebody was like, "That shit is dope as hell." Thank you. Your chat. So what's that called?
It's a death head moth.
That's what he said. He knew exactly what it was.
It's the same moth from Silence of the Lambs.
So, I knew that looked familiar.
So it's the only tattoo I have out of like over 30.
And you got tatted up after you left the club too, I noticed. Yeah. Girl, I was all in your pictures.
That's okay.
I was like, she did that. She had it like,
I got a lot. I just started just doing what I wanted to do.
I feel like you did the opposite of everybody else.
Right.
But when you got out of dancing, you started doing everything that people did.
Yeah, I think dancing gave me a lot of confidence that kind of was taken away for a while.
Yeah.
So then, like, when I decided to just like say fuck it and start dancing, I really just said that to everything else. Like, and then when I like decided, okay, the guy I was with was like not really feeling the stuff that I was feeling, but I was like, why not?
Is that the person that I know?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
So I'm like, I look great. Like, I'm working out. Like, I'm feeling good. And then I just started.
And honey, he should have been happy to have you up on his arm.
I would think so.
So no offense, you know I love you. We go way back. But, dude.
Right. But times change, people change, things change. So I just decided to just get whatever tattoos I wanted to and get the piercings that I wanted to.
Yeah,
I locked my hair up. I took a poll on Instagram. I remember when I
voted for it.
Yeah, and it was literally 50-50.
Yeah.
So it was no help whatsoever.
But I like it on you.
Yeah, I like it too. It's super low maintenance.
Yeah, that's good.
Because the curls, like just like on stage, they get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not my style.
Yeah. My brother had dreads in high school. Yeah, and they were. He had I can't say he had a hell of time with them, but it was a lot of maintenance. I always wanted it, but I
always tell everybody to do it. Worst that happens is you don't like them,
and you just cut them off,
or you can take them out.
Yeah,
it takes a while.
Yeah, I have watched some YouTube videos on that. But look, so we are chatting already. We're sitting.
Can we do it?
We can have a shot.
Do that, and then ask me the question.
This is. Nobody else. I think it was one other person that wanted to have a shot with me. Everybody was like, "No, what about it?" Me and her used to tear a bottle of Crown down at work.
And I always, if I finished the bottle, I was like, "Give me that bag." And I ended up with quite a few Crown bags.
We used to go through a bottle.
I remember when this came out and how hyped it was about that.
Girl,
you don't even need. It's delicious.
Girl. People be sleeping on my salted caramel. I'm gonna let them.
Because it's really whiskey. It's really like a tough drink.
Yeah.
Like I'm a tough girl.
And don't be talking about our little shop cuts. We had to rush.
Right.
We was already late.
That's all.
Listen.
What are we gonna toast to? I'll let you do it.
We are gonna toast to confidence, new beginnings, and being you and doing what the fuck you want to do.
It's
with no regrets.
Right.
How about that?
Okay, so what's the first official question?
So,
the interview.
Yeah, let's backtrack.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first question I ask everybody.
Right.
Did you know anything about dancers or strippers or whatever you want to give the label to? Did you know anything about that industry before you started dancing? No,
not at all.
So was your was your persona what you saw on TV?
No, I had been to clubs maybe once or twice. I learned before I even started dancing that if a guy brings girls, like if a group of guys has a girl with them, they're usually treated better. So I often was brought along. So, but it happened a couple of times. I was cool with it. I just didn't really think anything of it, negative or positive. I've always been kind of like do whatever you want to do type of person.
Right.
So I didn't think anything of it in that way, but I also just didn't know anything about it either. Nobody I knew was, super directly involved that I was close to.
Right.
Nothing like I didn't know anything. I moved back to Delaware.
Sorry, that's control. I'm gonna do this a lot.
No,
I'm gonna be like, sorry, I'll cut you off. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Delaware.
Okay.
I'm originally from Delaware.
So where were you moving before you came? Where were you living before you came back to Delaware?
Maryland.
Before the dancing?
Maryland.
Okay.
And before that, Virginia.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been a few places. But Delaware is technically home. So I keep finding myself back here.
Yeah.
Right. So I came back here and I can tell you the whole story of how I started.
Well, that was gonna be my next question.
Right. Yeah.
What made you get into it? Was there a reason behind it?
The short reason is I needed money.
Okay.
The short reason is I needed more money than what I was making.
That's
right.
Almost everybody.
Right, of course, right.
Yeah.
So the long reason was that I had been in 2 back-to-back pretty crappy relationships. I had to move back home. I didn't really have hardly anything. I was working at a chiropractic office and making like $11 an hour. It wasn't working anymore. I had to get out of my mom's house.
Yeah.
My car was getting ready to be recalled.
Girl.
I just said, I just can't do this. So I talked to a few guys that I knew who I knew had frequented clubs, because it was in the back of my mind. I'm like, I'm about to just do it. Like,
did you say to yourself, like, I could do that shit?
Pretty much.
Like,
yeah, because I love to dance. Period.
Yeah.
I always have. I danced growing up, like ballet, tap, and jazz. So I did that for like 13 years. So dance has always been a huge part of me.
Right.
Music has always been a huge part of me. So that aspect never worried. I was like, but can I get up there in a little bit of clothes? Maybe in certain sense, no clothes.
Yeah.
And then can I do that?
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know.
Staring at you.
Right. And will I be good at it? Not only could I do it, I knew I could.
Yeah.
But would I be good at it?
Right.
Would people even want to see me up there? Yeah, I'm attractive, but like, there's a lot of arm and leg swinging around.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I got a weird hunch going on. Like,
not only that, but you said this helped you boost your confidence.
Right.
So you really weren't that confident either.
I'll tell you, when I look at the beginning of when I started dancing, like my little mirror stuff, I always had on
your garters.
My garters, but I also had tights a lot of times, like the thigh highs, like the fishnets, the socks, something to go at least over my knees, because I thought like all that naked leg was just too much. It was love that leg. I ended up getting called 4 feet of leg, So I owned it later on because I started doing tricks. I needed that skin, and it just kind of forced me to just be okay with it. Yeah. And then I wanted to take it back.
They love legs.
They do, but I didn't love them. I was like, I felt like Kevin Durant. They call him Durantula. That's how I felt, but in heels. Yeah. So.
But me and you are about the same height.
Right.
And
we're not short to be.
Yeah, but that's what I love.
Eventually I like
my legs. Yeah. Like out of all things, like when I first started dancing, it was my legs.
Right.
I was like, if I can work these motherfuckers like a spider.
Right. I got to that point. It took me a while to get there.
Like, you know.
Right. It probably took me like, I'd say at least a year of dancing to really get to the point where I like had some tricks that I felt comfortable with, like a routine. You know, I knew like what kind of people like, what sort of songs worked for me. But even then, you still have to continuously work on that.
Yeah.
So I ended up finding what worked.
Now, how did you learn how to dance? Like, did you go to a pole, like, I hate they're not pole schools, but like studios.
Right.
And take a class and learn, or did you just genuinely watch and teach yourself? Did you watch YouTube videos?
I watched some YouTube videos. I did watch some YouTube videos because when it came time to audition, I had no idea what to do. Like, so I knew when I made up in my head I was going to go, I was like, I got to have a song ready, and I got to know what I'm going to do for that song. Like, at least have some kind of flow motion. And like I said, I have danced for so long, I can usually pick up things by watching them a few times. At least let me get the vibe. So that's what I did. I wouldn't say that the audition was my best work for sure. I didn't really do much of anything.
Nobody's
walk around. I think I did one of these and maybe 3 of these. My heels were like coming off of the heel, like of my foot, because they were just regular high heels.
Yep.
I had like this terrible tube top dress on. It was awful. I didn't know. I went to the Desires, their other one, his and hers.
Oh, okay.
I went there and just like bought like some kind of dress thing, and that's. But hey, I got the job. So
listen, we all start somewhere.
Yeah. It was
we all start somewhere, and all of our starts are not good.
Yeah, I always used to tell girls like who would see like the tricks and stuff that I would do. Like I would show them the very first video I had of me climbing a pole at the place in 13. So climbing pole there, and it's just terrible. Like it's so bad. I look like a baby giraffe. I'm just like all arm work, you know, like there's a lot of squeaking from my boots. Like
I have never heard I look like a baby giraffe.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It was every time I think about it, like I'll be embarrassed. But then I have a video from a year later and it's totally different. Amazing.
Yeah.
I want to say it.
Well, it is. I mean, because you look back and you're like, damn, first of all, I came a long way. And second of all, I would have never thought I would have been able to do that.
I think it's crazy sometimes when I look at it. Yeah. You really was on stage having people throw down the bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So did you come in? Everybody's saying hi.
Oh, hey y'all. Hey y'all.
So did you come in with a game plan?
No.
Like, did you say to yourself, okay, I'm doing this because I need the money,
right,
and so on and so forth. Right. But when I go in here, I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to stack my money. I'm going to, like, my end goal is this, and I only plan on being in this business for 2 years, a year.
I loved it. I could have did it forever.
Yeah? Why'd you stop?
Man. And then eventually,
that's the first time I heard that one.
Yeah, eventually COVID.
Yeah.
Eventually COVID. I did, go back and whatnot. But
so hold on, let's backtrack because I got to dig into this a little bit more.
Right.
The men. Right. Why?
You can just tell when you're dealing with somebody and they're not feeling it.
But why give it up for him?
Why do we do anything?
Or them?
Why do we do anything for them?
No,
but it's not the right decision.
But seriously, like. You met me doing this.
Right.
You knew what I was doing from the door. Right. And if you didn't like it, why enter that door for us
because you could have left
to end up not being together?
Right. Because you could have left me alone. And you wasn't complaining when I bought them Ray-Bans with that stage move. Because that was from one set that's what those, so he wasn't complaining. I don't know. Looking back, it wasn't the smartest decision. Eventually I was lucky enough to transition to what my career now is, and that's it's developed and gotten good. So, it is. So, but yeah,
trust me, I'm not judging you by far because we've all done dumb shit for dudes,
right?
But that's always been my one thing that I always say. Because I've been in this business a long time, and I get a lot of questions, and a lot of girls are like, well, would you stop for your man? No,
right,
because he knew what I was doing when he got involved with me from the gate.
Right, I agree.
And like you said, you didn't have a problem with it when I bought you them Timbs. You didn't have a problem with that when I bought you them Ray-Bans. You didn't have a problem with that when I bought you that new iPhone 14.
Right.
So
yeah. Right. I mean, I can just say,
and it's not sorry, not to cut you off, but it's not a guarantee that I'm still going to be with this man. So why give up what I like to do and my good income that I built my lifestyle off of for somebody that can't match my lifestyle?
That's the part that matters. Because if you can quit for somebody, if that's what is important to them and y'all agree as a couple,
right?
But they have to have your back in all senses, because I went from making very good money to having no money almost, and was that person
it becomes a lifestyle,
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
A comfortable lifestyle.
Right, because I can always go to work.
Yeah.
I can always go to work.
And don't get me wrong, our days aren't always good.
Right. But plenty of days we make nothing.
Yeah. Right. It's funny that you bring this up because I had a conversation with someone the other day, a guy friend of mine, and he was like, I could never date a dancer. Right. And I'm like, why? He's like, because all the homies done seen her half naked. And I said, but you wife the one that ran through your whole crew.
Right. It's no different.
But you wife,
and we have rules. You know what I mean? Like we have rules. We at work. We're not doing this for fun. It might be fun, but we're not doing it for fun.
But they wife the ones that are actually the whores.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Like, make it make sense, bro.
They can't, and they won't. That's it. That's it. They can't. They won't.
It irks my soul because I'm like, damn, you're trying to make it seem like we're some gutter trash, like that you can't take home to mom.
Right.
But I guarantee you, your daddy was in the club last week, throwing these dollars.
That part right there. I always am really interested when people approach me later, like, oh, I saw you in there and it's that. But now you being funny now, like out and about. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Do you have the guys from high school that didn't want anything to do with you, and then once they found that you were a dancer, they're all in your face? Oh my god!
All the time.
Oh, I had that so bad.
And then you wanna have like a discount, or you want me to sit with you for free. Like, baby, you can reach me just like anybody else can on social media if you got access.
That part.
Outside of that, like I'm at work, and I think a lot of people who know you, like that has to be talked about beforehand. Like if you come to the club, I'm at work. I'm either not gonna be sitting with you, or you gotta pay me, and you better tip the girls when they come around. Always tip the girls. If you at a strip club, please, I don't care if you're just watching the game. I don't care if you came in there for lunch real quick.
Yeah.
If you are at a strip club and a girl come by, give her $1. She'll leave you alone. She'll leave you alone. If you just give her $1 single, if she know you're not interested, we can catch the vibe. We know where we want it and not want
it. Some girls catch the vibe, some don't. Some catch the vibe, some don't.
Right.
That's why
and been like,
so a lot of the city clubs don't do that dollar dance bullshit.
Right.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it.
Yeah.
But I hate it.
Yeah.
I never did it. It wasn't my zhish.
Right.
But I think that's where the problem lies, because some guys genuinely, not that they don't want to be bothered or they don't want to tip you.
Right.
Sorry, I said that wrong. Mm-hmm. Not that they don't want to tip you. They just don't want to be bothered.
Right.
Like they honestly just wanted to come in, have a quick drink, watch, the last part of the game they can before they get home and get nagged by their girlfriend or the wife.
Right.
And I'm saying that because I do it. So I'm not throwing shade.
Right. But at the same time, you can do that at a bar. You know what I mean? You can do that at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Absolutely.
If you wanted the environment, just show a little love to somebody.
That's what I was going to say.
Somebody.
Also, men have their type. So just because he doesn't tip you doesn't mean he's being ignorant. Like,
as long as he tips somebody, I'm happy. I get it.
Not that he's being you just might not be his type.
Right.
So don't get upset that he didn't tip you. You're just not his type.
Right, because most of the clubs I've worked at are fairly diverse. You got Spanish girls, white girls, black girls, mixed girls, whatever.
Yeah.
So if I see you and you in here and you're not tipping nobody, well, you in here wasting all of our time. Because somebody in here got to appeal to you.
Absolutely.
But if you just, a lot of times too, we start to see the guys who we know that's so.
And listen, guys, we talk. We talk.
Oh,
when we see you come in and you've been in on a we be like, don't deal with him.
Don't even worry about it.
We won't tell the new girl because we want her to
figure it out alone. You got to go, little baby.
Yeah, but the homies, girl, don't deal with him. Like, girl, why? Girl, he been in here for the past 3 days and he ain't done nothing.
Try to give me $1, try to slide it all the way inside of
girl.
For nothing. Didn't he buy me a drink? But I had a lot of good times too. We had a lot of good customers. Girl, that's what I was about to say. Do you remember when I did that like 2.5 hour VIP? And you kept coming because you was working, and you kept coming, and y'all want another one? Huh?
I was managing.
Yep. Y'all want another one?
Yes.
Y'all want another one? I don't think I got on stage the whole night just because he kept getting back to back to back, and then still tipped me. I won't say how good, but really good on top of the
I think that was one of your best nights.
I think it was too. That one and my overall best night was the Halloween where I was dressed as a vampire.
Was I there?
I think you were there. I remember. It was my very first Halloween working there, and I had a black bodysuit. I had like a black bodysuit. I had the fangs that were glued on, so they looked real. Oh shit! Yeah, I was charging people like I ended up making like $1,200 that night. I was making really. That's one of my best nights. You know,
I love that.
Yeah. And people kept being like, "Oh, don't fight me." You know what I mean? Like joking.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was like, the fuck out of here. They were glued on. Everything was good. I had ate a couple chips, tested them out. They was alright. It wasn't gonna go nowhere.
Damn.
Yeah. And I had extra glue too. It was like eyelash glue. It worked. I made good money.
That's what I like. I like girls that come up with little gimmicks.
Yeah, you gotta have bits to be successful.
I love that.
I think in a lot of industries it works. Not just because I've also, more lately I've done security, and you gotta have bits. People say the same thing over and over to you, so I'm gonna say the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
If I know it works, if I know, it'll solve.
There was a girl that worked at Fairways years ago, and she had the longest nipples. I mean, they were like fucking torpedoes. And she used to tear the faces out of the bills. Right. And she used to see how many she can fit on her nipples. And guys would do 20s, 50s, 1s, just like 5s. I mean, she would leave.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was amazed how many she could fit on her
nipples. It works.
But it was a gimmick.
And it worked.
We just had a feature at Whispers, and one of her things, she did a trick where she laid down and she spread her legs, and she had a cup between her legs, and she's like, whoever can make a bill in the cup gets a picture. Yeah, man, we were tossing them joints.
I played that at clubs where usually you got two pairs on, so you pull one pair out. Right. You pull one pair out, and you're standing there. And usually the stage is higher up, so they got to make it in. Yeah. And especially like if there's multiple guys like together, it's a competition. Now. Oh, girl! So like this one's got to shoot twice. One's on that one's gonna hit. Yes. You got to back up. You got to get closer. Yes. You got to move around. Yes. And before you know it, you make $20-$30 if it's just one. Yes. Easily. Yes. And then you don't have to dance that much too if you're not really feeling the music. Yeah. Because some clubs don't get to pick the music. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff I do because I hate that. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Yeah, especially with me because I'm pretty particular. I mean, I think everybody is. Yeah. Everybody has their certain kind of genre that they absolutely love to show out to. Sure. So back to the customers. Did you have a certain type of customer that liked you, or that you preferred? Older black dudes. Older black guys. Older black dudes. Why? I don't know. I just knew when they walked in the door that they was gonna like me. Yeah. I think because I'm I can carry a conversation. So they don't feel like they're like taking advantage of someone. I think that's I think they're maybe deep down worried about that. So right now. Yeah. But they just I don't know, they just always seem to like me, and I can hold a conversation with them. I usually know about the things that they like. Yeah. And I come off maybe as less intimidating than others. Well, you're also like a sports girl too, right? Yeah. So I think that's the thing about older black men. They like sports. Yeah, they love it. Yeah, so I think that's Yeah, I'm a kind of person, like, I know a little bit about a lot. Yeah. Like, I can find something on the subject we can relate on. And sports are really easy. I enjoy sports.
Yeah.
So I don't know everything about them, but I know enough.
Did you find it hard to start a conversation with a customer?
It all depends.
Like, well, let's do like your beginning and then when you got into it. Like in the beginning, did you find it hard to approach a guy?
Yeah.
Did you? Sorry, but did you like? So saying the new stages.
Right.
Did you like? Did you sit back and look around and be like, oh, I don't know if I should go talk to him or like should I talk with him? And then like, what should I say if I talk to him? Did you ever like start walking up to a customer and be like, oh, they're like,
all the time, especially if they're with another girl. Like I really had to learn kind of like, of course you have to learn like the etiquette of it all.
Yeah.
Which is not really taught to you until you do something wrong.
It's unspoken.
Right.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's unspoken.
Right. So until you do it wrong, you don't know that it's wrong.
It's not necessarily like when you come in, a girl's like, okay, don't do this, you gotta do this.
Yeah, there's no players club.
No.
There's no like real talk about it.
I said that's why it's an unspoken rule.
Yeah.
But it comes, and what's crazy is we just had this conversation last week at work. It all comes down to respect.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, because the few times that I've had beef with anybody, it was because I felt like one way or another they had disrespected me or disrespected the girls that I was close with. Yeah. So either way, besides that, I didn't care what anybody did. Yeah. You know, but if you was messing with my stuff or if you was doing wild things, like none of us want to deal with that, and you making a home out of that now. And that's not cool.
And that's another thing a lot of girls don't understand. Like, listen, do your thing, baby girl.
Right.
I don't care, but don't do it in here.
Right.
Because
once don't want to hear about that shit.
Well, no, not only that, it's like once you let a customer feel and grab and touch and do all this extra stuff,
you don't think he can do it to me.
He
can't, because I'm gonna charge way too much.
Not only that, I'm gonna smack the shit out you.
Oh yeah, I've gotten physical. I was good for kicking a beer over on somebody.
Like just because she lets you do it, don't mean that I'm gonna let you do it. And then, dude, look, put the two together.
Right.
You look at her. That you think I'm a
right. It's not the same. Can't be the same.
Like you know better.
Right.
You know better.
Right.
Just by looking at the two.
Right.
You know better.
And I can fight, so you really making the bad choice right now, all the time. And I like to fight.
And I like fighting.
I don't stir though, but I like to, I do enjoy it, and I'm not bad at it.
Right.
Like and my boots stay laced up tight for a reason. They're not going nowhere, girl. They're not going nowhere
at all. So, what's the kind of music that you like to dance to?
I like R&B all day. My general vibe at the time. See now, that's one thing too. I haven't been dancing in years. Yeah. I be hearing this music now. I'm like, I would tear that song on stage. Like, oh man, this is 1,000% my vibe. It's like more and more it's like that. But I'm very much like the Jhené Aiko. Like I always call it like sexy smoker music. Yeah. Like it's got like usually a nice beat to it.
I like her music.
Yeah. Like a nice beat to it, but it's like still sort of soft. I like it with ups and downs. Because I like to hit the beat, whatever it is. Yeah. I like to lip sync. I can't sing for real. So I like to lip sync and make it look like I'm putting on a whole little show. Yeah. So I did a lot of her, Miguel, and then I like random old songs that everybody knows. I used to do like regulators, like
did anybody ever complain about your music choice?
Like not to me.
Yeah.
And if they did, they wasn't my customer anyway. So yeah. There's a girl in here that'll probably dance to ACDC or I don't know, country.
Well, no, I was asking because
Yeah, but no, most customers I think that would get their attention a lot of times was my music choice. Sometimes, you're in the club and I would come on stage and it might slow things down a little bit. So that kind of naturally makes people start to see like what's going on. And if you have an older song, I knew like if a certain song played and the crowd was feeling it, oh, they my customer. Yeah. Like you can tell, like Regulators. Yeah. If that come on and people get hyped for it, it don't matter what tricks I do. They're just gonna be glad somebody's performing to it. That's their jam. And it works that way. So you just have to know, you gotta read the crowd. But
did you ever have a customer, like a regular customer, where he liked a specific song?
I've had it before. I know one customer used to come in and he would really like when I danced to Permission by Ro James, which is one of my favorite ones too. But I think he liked it more just because I like dancing to it so much. So he was that one, and then of course, at the one club, once I did the competition for Prince, then everybody wanted me to dance to Prince songs after that.
Yeah.
So I obliged. If anybody asked me to, 9 out of 10.
Yeah. That was gonna be my next question. Did you get a lot of requests?
Once in a while, but not too often.
Yeah.
I think I was lucky to where most people just watched the show.
Right.
And you could tell that I was enjoying myself up there. So I don't think it mattered.
So this is another question I ask girls.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing, like, that's my customer, that's my customer. Right. What is your definition? Well, I'm gonna save that one for later. Mm-hmm. When do you think a girl can say, that's my customer?
When he comes in there for you specifically, I would say. If I call you or text you and be like, I'm going to be at work tonight, and I'm the only reason you up there, that's my customer. Okay. Now, I will also say that I have never called anyone or referred to my customer that wasn't taking care of the other girls. I very rarely have sat with somebody who's not also going to buy drinks for somebody else or tip somebody else, just out of being polite. Mm-hmm. Even if they're with me, clearly sitting there all night, they hand me $400, they buy my drinks, they buy the bartender drinks, we're good. Like, everything's good. They still will slide a girl $1 after she come off stage, or if I'm like, oh, she's on stage, give me a couple dollars,
that's what I'm good for.
Right.
I'm like, give me some money.
Yeah. And that's the best, one of the best things is that they don't feel like they're, cheating on you, because some of them, like, oh yeah, like, they're loyal to you. Oh yeah. And they'll only come in when you're there. Mm-hmm. Like, they won't stay if you're not coming in. Right. So I think that when it's to that level, that's when it's your custom.
So what's your definition of a sugar daddy?
So I guess I go with the more traditional sense of it. I don't want to say, because everybody's needs as far as relationships go are different. Yes. And I know a lot of sugar daddy quote unquote relationships are not sexual. They may be intimate in a way, like, where you might spend time with them, you might be their date when they need one, you might, go out of town when they have business meetings, and you don't do nothing the whole time. But so that's what I would consider a sugar daddy.
You guys hear that? We all have had the same answer. Yeah. You do not need to sleep with a guy because he's your sugar daddy.
And to be really honest, most of the guys who are regular customers or sugar daddies, they're usually older, and usually
that's why they're called sugar daddies, because they're older.
And they usually can't perform in ways that someone else can.
Some men, a lot of men, when it comes to the sugar daddies, mm-hmm. honestly just want that young, vibrant, sexy, attractive girl to have on their arm, mm-hmm. to take out to dinner, to take to Christmas. It's an ego party.
Yeah, it's ego.
That's it. To pull up to the restaurant VIP, and you open that door, and that bitch steps out with that sexy fucking leg, and you look at him like, how the fuck did you get her?
Because it always looks like
that. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I went out to, I had a regular a while ago, and oh my God, he was like 70, 75. Mm-hmm. He wasn't my sugar daddy, he was just a regular. Yeah. And we went out to eat. And I mean, all eyes were on us
the whole time.
Like, you know me, I'll run off at the mouth real quick. I held myself together, but I literally wanted to stand up and be like, have y'all not seen a woman and a man out to eat together?
Ever.
Like, first of all, you don't even know if this is my grandpa.
You don't know nothing. And you assuming.
And all of them were assuming. Mm-hmm. We didn't hold hands. Right. We didn't kiss. We didn't sit next to each other in the booth.
None of that.
Yes, he opened the door for me, but every man is supposed to do that. He helped me take my coat off. Right. Every man is supposed to do that.
Right.
Like,
and really, in a traditional sense, the men who say they want a traditional woman, what a traditional woman to me is a kept woman. So if you want a kept woman, you have to keep me. And that means treating me nice. That means taking me out. So
a happy life is a happy life.
Right. It's just, it's not a exclusive thing. It's not a monogamous thing. It's just, this is what he wants or needs. And it's taking time away from whatever else I could be doing. And time is money, if anything.
Listen, you were the only one that has said that besides me.
Yeah.
And I'm not downing any other girl that says this, but I tell people, I have, especially when my kids were younger, because I've been dancing since I was 17, so I had my kids throughout my career.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to take me out, I don't care if it's a walk in the park. I don't care if it's a skip, hop, and a jump through the fucking grocery store. I don't care if you need me to walk you through setting up your phone. You need to pay me. Because the time, but you know this because you know I'm a dancer and you know what this relationship is consists of. This is the conversation.
Like, let's both be honest.
But I always have a conversation with my customers or my sugar daddies prior to anything. Because me and you need to be on the same page. Because I don't want to do something and you be like, oh, well, I did this. No, homie, we had this conversation. So you want to take me out? You need to pay for my time. Because this is the time that I could have spent with my children. This is the time I could have spent in my household cleaning, cooking, doing laundry, anything of the sort. Just pampering myself.
I've almost always worked 2 jobs. So, I've always had other obligations. I've never, in my whole entire adult life, even before I was dancing, it's never been just me. I've never had to worry about just myself. It's always something else. And it is what it is.
Yes.
So, I had a couple of regulars, but I never had to do anything with them. Like, they really just,
you don't have to.
They really just like to be around me. I'm fun to be around.
But that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast, because a lot of men and a lot of women, I'm not even knocking on men, because there's a lot of women that don't understand that you don't have to sleep with these men to get. You don't have to suck a dick. You don't have to. They don't have to eat your pussy. They don't have to look at titty. They don't have to do anything. Yes, men will give you money for no reason.
They will.
Men will give you money because you look good. You can call me a gold digger. You can call me whatever you want to call me. But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting on my ass at home texting people, asking people to give me money. I am going to work, shaking my butt, having conversations. Blah, 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 blah.
That's
money.
work. That's work. So, and I always tell people, like, when people talk about, like, OnlyFans, whatever it is that they're talking about, and, it's the sex work industry. It is still work. A lot of it, and now, because of the visibility of so many aspects of the industry, hopefully maybe it'll legally turn more to where it can be better documented and things like that, because that's the hardest part really about being a dancer. How can you prove how much you're making when you buy a house?
That's
the hardest. You want to get a car. You're making.
People don't understand the trials that we go through. Hold on, really, and I just lied. I have sat on my ass and texted and had people send me money.
We are.
Let me correct myself. But no, people don't understand the trials that we go through. It's so easy for the normal person to go get a car, to go get an apartment, but we have to go through showing, because we don't have pay stubs. We got to get a letter from work.
You gotta deposit into your bank.
Yes, weekly. And you have to show weekly amounts that you're deposit. Like, it's crazy what we have to go through just really to get an apartment or to get a car. And then after doing all that, they'll still deny you because they're like not only that, or it's, well, we don't know if this would be a constant income for you.
Oh, any job can fire you at any point in time.
We don't know. You can make that money now, but next week you won't make that.
Right. So that's no different than a waitress or a salesman.
But they look at them like, well, at least they get a paycheck. Yeah, even if it is for $2. Right? Yeah, but they look at it like, even though, but it's like, what's the difference from them to me? Except for I just don't get a paycheck.
Right. We pay to work, independent contract. Which people need to know too about dancing. We pay to be there. So when we are at work, like, it is for real. We pay a fee every night we walk in that door. We have to at least make that much back, or we lost money. Girl, that don't count your gas, that don't count your makeup, your outfits, tolls for most of us, all of that, everything, just to get to work. You already in the negative.
And yes, we can write all that off on taxes.
Yes,
all of it,
receipts,
all of it, all of it.
About dancing.
Yeah, some of y'all dancers, because I had one girl be like, "Oh my God, you can do that."
Yeah, we're independent contractors. Once you make more than a certain amount, which you will as a dancer if you're really doing it. Once you make over a certain amount, all of that stuff is tax deductible. Keep your receipts. log your gas and all that.
Everything.
Kind of everything.
You know I'm on my podcast. Don't even send me it. That just made me all the way mad.
Oh, don't be mad. We'll talk about it later.
That just made me all the way.
Don't be mad.
That just made me all the way.
What?
People know how I am. Girl, that just made me all the way mad. Anywho.
Some things never change.
Girl, that's what I was just thinking about. Right. Okay. So let the Pole Princess competition.
Right.
So
right. The one and only grand champion.
Girl.
Yeah, I will forever hold that title. I should have brought like my sash. I still got it. I still got my big check. Too.
I got mine.
Yeah, it's right in the car.
I have my sash. Right. Not that I did the other one.
Mm-hmm.
No, but ours was called Pole Princess. I think this is
yours was Pole Princess. Ours was DSPC. The diamond
yeah. The diamond.
Yeah.
Don't mess with me again.
So grand champion.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. So the one that I did was Pole Princess.
Right.
But we had another one when I was managing. Right. I was so happy to be a part of because I wasn't sure I was going to because that's right after I had the baby. So I wasn't sure if I was going to be a part of it or not. Right. So I'm so glad that I was there and to witness. And it's so now we can speak on this freely because before I told her, I was like, "Bitch, you got this." I'm like,
I didn't think I did.
Girl, you were so paranoid.
I was.
It was
I gave myself a terrible migraine. I couldn't even celebrate at the end because my head hurt so bad.
So if anybody is on the Pole Truth business page or my personal page, I posted our picture together from the competition after she won. Right. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. She was so paranoid and so stressed.
I was.
And I said, if you don't win, this shit is rigged. This shit is rigged. This shit is rigged.
Well, see, in my mindset too, I was thinking, other people who had entered it. One person in particular was busy on stage, for lack of a better term, and sometimes that busy can confuse people.
No, but this is the thing. This is what I was trying to tell you. The difference between you and them were that you didn't do the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I worked that whole 8 minutes.
Even without like a competition, you watch girls on stage, they will do the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah. You genuinely made it a pole competition. Like I did an interview with a feature a couple weeks ago. Well, last month, sorry. And she will tell you like there's levels to this shit basically.
It is big time.
When you get into a pole competition, it's like a regular competition. Yeah. You have beauty, you have flexibility, you have strength, you have all of that. Right. So yeah, you spin around the pole. So what? But treading on spinner. Right. So what? You did a pole trick upside down, but you held with your hands. Right. You didn't. Right. Yeah. Like that made a difference. Like, yeah, you might have been busy as shit up there. Right. And you might have been pretty. Right. And you might have been sexy. Right. But you didn't do everything that they were looking for. And I'm not knocking any of the girls that were involved with it. They all were amazing.
And I give anybody credit for
but like I said, the difference to me, to me, what I seen, to me,
you weren't a judge.
The difference to me was that you didn't do the same pole trick back to back to back to back. Right. And this is what irks me. Not even talking about the pole competition. This is just in general. I hate when a girl does a pole trick and thinks it's different because she takes one hand off.
Right, right.
Or she throws a leg out.
Right.
No, bitch, it's the same pole trick.
It's the same thing.
Unless you transition to a whole nother move, it's the same fucking trick.
I agree. Yeah. And I think a lot of girls too, they rely on maybe one sort of thing, or they just, I mean, a lot of girls would ask me, can you show me how to do that? Absolutely, I can. But I'm going to tell you like this, can you do a split? No, you can't. You're not going to be able to do that trick. And that's just the plain simple of it. And you can maybe learn the basics of it and adapt it to a way that fits you, but this is how I do it because this is what my strengths are.
I don't
do it like me. That's why I win. Because at the end of the day, like, you did a split, but I did a split. And then
where was this thought process at during the competition, bitch?
It was coming back there, and it comes out as anxiety. You know what I mean? It comes out as anxiety. Even still now, like if I'm going through, I'll like in my head or out loud, even just run through all the worst case scenarios. You and were the two that I was like, right. But I already told you, you overall, I knew you were going to take that shit, just because. I mean, and. I'll tell you when I knew I had it. I knew I had it when in the bag. It was because if you remember, I did 2 songs. It was Prince themed, like So I started with Purple Rain, and Purple Rain is already like a 9-minute song. So it faded out, and then the thunder crashed and whatever, and then When Doves Cry came on, and I ripped like my jacket off, and when I did that. And there was like some hooting and hollering. I said, "Oh, I'm good now." But that's another thing. Yeah. You put thought into it. Oh yeah. You made it. Yeah, it was a show. A show. And me and Crystal said that in our conversation when I interviewed her. Right. It doesn't matter if it's even minus the pole competition. Yeah. Even if it's 1 guy or 10 guys or 100 guys, make it a show. These other girls just thought to themselves. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a couple other girls that put stuff into it, but their music didn't match their costumes, or their dance moves didn't match their music. Right. It was something that was off. Yours all around like was on go. I went to a tailor for that to get that Velcro added to that jacket, just for the sole purpose of ripping it off. You showed your ass. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. I mean, it was one of my proudest moments. I was proud of you. Thank you. Yeah, I like I said, I still keep all my stuff. I tell people. Like, I don't know if you remember this, but every time when we used to work and talk, whether I was managing or whether I was when I was dancing, you always would say something like, "I can't do that," or I think I said a lot. That's not me. Yeah, like, that's not. Yeah, it was either like that's not me. I can't do that, or I don't want to get up there. Right. It was something. Yeah. And I used to tell you like, girl, like you catch on quick. Like you're a beast. Right. Like you got to stop thinking like that. Right. Like you're amazing at what you do. Like you said, you catch on so fast. Right. Like you could. There was remember when there was nobody in the club one night and we were watching YouTube videos and you were like, how the hell did she do that? Right. And I was like, watch her. Right. Watch where she puts her hand. Yeah. Watch where she does it. People later on too. And you got on stage. We both got up there actually. Yeah. I did it the first time. You came right behind me and did it right the exact same way. Yeah. And I was like, you can't do what? Right. Yeah. You can't do what? Yeah. I remember that. I ended up doing it. I did it. Like she never gave herself enough credit. No, I feel like you didn't. I'm a harshest critic. I mean, most people say that, of course. But I take it to a whole other level. You did, and I still do with certain things. You did. Yeah, but it also makes me good at things. Yeah. So I have to kind of. But I think channel it better, and not. But I take it as like a beat myself up. Right. But I also think it stems back to you being insecure about certain things. Absolutely. Yeah. Because I remember, like, you always complained about your legs. Yeah. Your hair. Yeah. It was, I was like, girl, you can do, like. And it's hard, too, when you see, even just, like, seeing you in there with your makeup and, you always were very confident, naturally, and you bring a vibe in, and it's like, man, like I really want to have that vibe when I walk in the room. Like,
but
you know,
did.
I didn't feel like I did. I felt like,
but you had it in your own way.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right. But I just, you know, I didn't feel like that. And you see other people who.
I watched your walk change.
Right. Yeah. Especially
like
once I found out what shoes work for me best too.
But not even that. Like I watched and I say walk, I mean confidence.
Right.
I watched it change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once I went into Indiana, once we went out there,
that helps a lot because that's a whole different world.
You can't hide.
That's a whole different world.
Ron Jeremy kissed me on my mouth.
I would have threw up all over the place.
I took a shot at Ray was there. He had the book bag with our alcohol in it, you know, because he was just keeping us safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't think it happened so slowly, but so quickly. But also it's gross. It's really gross, right? But it's also an honor. Like, bro,
Ron Jeremy.
Like, no, Ron Jeremy. Like the things that mustache has smelled like.
Girl, woo! I can only imagine. Look, Ray's on here. Look, two of my favorite crazy ladies, and Riley kicks butt.
Thank you, Ray. Love you.
I remember you two watching the video and doing those videos.
Right.
I know, Ray. I have to do Ray remotely.
I don't want to put Ray's business out there, but I got a good story. Ray, you tell me if it's okay to tell the story from the from the competition from the pool. You let me know.
Oh Lord, I think I heard that story.
Yeah, crazy cowboy.
I think I heard that story.
Yeah,
I don't know when he left that comment, so he might not still be here.
But anyway, so once I went to the competition,
hold on. I have to get in the routine of doing this.
Yeah.
Make sure y'all hit those like buttons.
Yes.
Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. And don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Right.
Okay. Ray said, Ray, answer the question.
Right. all the rodeo he made us watch.
Girl, he got me in the rodeo.
I'm into it now too.
Oh my God. When it comes on, I'll be excited.
I'm like, oh, this the one.
Yes. And then they have one. Actually, you know what? They have one. Now I don't know when they're coming back to Elaine City, but there's one coming to Elaine City. So if you're free, we're gonna have to go together. Just in remembrance of course, right? Nothing will bother me.
Okay, so the story is so Ray, to get an idea of who Ray is, he like really just like a country guy, like just everybody's
country cowboy guy,
right? Yeah, like. He's just a cool, laid-back dude. He's never really too loud.
If you ever watched the show The Ranch on Netflix,
okay,
he's like that old. He's not old, right? But he's like that old white guy with the white hair and the white beard. Mm-hmm. That's who Ray reminds me of.
The vibe, and you know, like you safe with him. He's not gonna let nobody mess with you, but he's also gonna like talk to you about the rodeo. Yeah, and he's gonna complain about the music. But it's all good. Ray kept me safe more than anybody.
Oh yeah,
anytime I worked with him.
Absolutely. So he was my number one bouncer.
Absolutely. So we went to a competition in Indiana, which was at a nude resort. Mm-hmm. So it's your choice how much clothing you have, except for in the pool. You have to be skinny. You have to be naked in the pool. That's the only rule they have as far as clothing goes. So the whole weekend, it's like 4 days we were there. I'm like, I'm getting Ray in that pool. Mind you, I never even seen Ray's elbow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I even seen his shoulder. I
don't think I've seen Ray in shorts once.
Right. And we've been full blown summertime. Yeah. In summertime. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna get Ray in that pool if it's the last thing I do. And it was the last thing I did. I got him in the pool, butt naked.
Oh my gosh.
And then some guys from Chicago who was hanging out.
Is Ray packing?
I don't want to put it.
I'm joking.
You wouldn't be disappointed. You wouldn't be disappointed if you got with him. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Kudos, Ray.
And I have a picture, but all you can see in that picture is from here on up. So but it proves
I got you naked.
Right, exactly. I'll never forget it. He can't get away with it.
Oh gosh, that is too funny.
That's what he said. It's called Bulls on the Beach.
Yeah, coming to Ocean City. Bulls on the Beach. Okay. I would have to look that up, definitely, for sure. Because there was one in Lake City me and him were supposed to go to, and I can't remember what happened, but we ended up not being. Neither one of us were able to go. But yeah, I love Ray.
Ray's the best.
He was one of my.
And I know I've
miss
seen
him.
100,000 times where girls have called him for the most random of things, a ride or
And he's
help,
been there, drop of a
whatever
dime.
it is. And Ray's always wanted to count on. That's why he just came with us to Indiana.
Drop
he was
of a
literally there to grab our heels or to catch us.
Ray is the most loyal, trustworthy guy you will ever meet.
It didn't matter if your tits were out or not.
No,
right. That was the best part. It didn't matter.
And that's what I loved about him. He didn't try to. He had his one little favorite girl. We know who that was.
Right.
But he never tried to hit on anybody.
Right.
He never tried to smash. He never tried to cop a feel. Right. He never did like those sexual jokes that these weirdos do. He was genuine. Right. Genuine.
Oh yeah, Sapphire. That couldn't swim. Yeah, that was the same. Like,
okay,
yeah, that was one of the guys from Chicago.
Oh, and I have to give a special shout out to Rob. He is he's amazing. Yeah. He watches every show. Nice. He supports all of my social medias. Awesome. He's always commenting. I love you, Rob. Thank you so much for the support since day one.
Right.
So.
We love you, Rob. Thank you, Rob.
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Let's take this shot.
Yeah,
we're gonna do this one too. How about to the men who do us right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, let's do that. Look, I already knew me and her was gonna start drinking.
I said, whatever you drinking, I'm drinking.
I already knew it was gonna be Crown.
Oh yeah.
You went into pole fitness as well one time,
did.
right?
So once I kind of sort of faded from the club world, number one, I missed it. I missed dancing. I missed the stage. It's like it's something I just love to do regardless. Right. And then I still need a little bit of money too. So a studio had just opened up, and I knew another girl from a club in Philly. And she was like, "Oh, I'm going to be instructing there. They really need people." So I just talked to the owner and just kind of showed her a routine that I do. Right. I told her because she didn't have hardly any classes set up besides like a pole basic sort of beginner series, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is basics, and then this is how you climb, and blah blah blah. I think she maybe had like one or two like more advanced students. So what I brought to it was. What they call exotic. Mm-hmm. That's what they consider exotic, and more of a low flow. And I, they didn't really do too much spinning, so I'm comfortable on the spinning pole. Yeah. So I taught classes with that, and I enjoyed it. It just don't pay enough. Oh no, for me to work
unless you're like there on a regular,
right? Yeah.
Because I did that as well. I didn't know if you knew that about me, but I taught a pole fitness class in Claymont.
Okay.
For a little bit, yeah. And I did floor routines. Right. I mean, I taught classes, but I did floor. My thing was the floor routine. Right. Because the legs. Right. Yeah. But I loved it. I agree with you. It's something.
Keeps me busy. I miss that too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I haven't been on a pole. Last time I got on a pole was like I just kind of stopped into a studio that one of my friends was at. And she was instructing there. So I stopped in, but that was probably like more than a year ago. Yeah, more than a year ago at this point. So every time I get nervous, just like the first time.
Yeah, you got to get a pole put in your house.
I think so. I'm moving to a big house, so I might have.
Yeah, my pole's over there on the floor right now.
Yeah, I got to get a good one. I see the videos all the time.
Yeah. Listen, I tell people that. Yeah. It's worth.
I always tell people. It's worth the money.
It's worth the investment. Mm-hmm. I would not get a pole that's under $200.
Never. Yeah, I always say you should spend at least $300.
Mine was between three. I have an X pole,
right?
So
that's the one. Yeah, X pole is good.
I have a good one.
They should sponsor. X pole. We like y'all.
It's I love the X pole. Right. That's always been one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. And when I was with the studio, she had a portable one. Right, so we did it was a nightclub, and she set up, we had two portable poles, and we did, our tricks in there. But I always say the whole pole classes thing is cool and everything, but I feel like
it's not for strippers.
that, and I feel like, well, yeah, that basically the same of what I'm about to say. I feel like if you're a dancer, there's not too much you can gain from them unless you're doing one-on-ones with like whole girls that like won crazy competitions, like Alethea Austin. I did a 2 one-on-ones with her. I did 2 2-hour one-on-ones with her back in my day, and it was the best thing I could have ever did. But just going into a basic, and I'm not knocking any pole studios. I think they're amazing for girls to go in and have fun. Whether they want to do it for fun or whether it's something they want to do in the future in a club. But I feel like any dancer, unless they're brand new, it's not worth it.
No, and I know like it was hard for me. A lot of things were hard. Number one, I don't know the names of none of the movies. I just do.
Girl, I have a
book, like a dictionary.
Right. Yeah, because when you become, did you have to get certified?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in my studio, we had to name, like, when we went and did our certification, we had to name.
Right.
So like, I have a whole binder, a picture of it, and the name.
I had went years without ever knowing the name of things.
Well, I used to say them, and you guys would be like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I forgot."
And I started teaching them, and then a lot of times the phrase I would use, like, this might not be safe, but this is how I do it. So I had to use that a lot.
Well, because everybody has a different rates. Like left-handed people are different than right-handed people. You know, your outside grip is different from a left-hand person than it is a right-hand person. I mean, everybody's
in the
different.
club, like, because the way you're kind of forced to learn there, it's like fast track, and you're almost forced to be confident or to go home. Like you have to get up there and do it, or you're wasting your time, your own time, really, because you're not gonna get no money. That whole baby innocent cute thing works for about 2-3 weeks tops,
and you get that 1 month new girl money,
right? And that's the only money that hits that again is birthday money.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and listen. If you a dancer, always work on your birthday.
Always work on your birthday and make it known it's your birthday.
Yep. Promote that shit a week ahead of time. Wear your sash, wear your tiara.
Tell the DJ that every time you about to come on stage, or she came back out on the floor.
Birthday money in the club is the best money.
Everybody want to take care. They feel guilty if they're mean to you on your birthday.
So my last month, I wanted to smack Crystal and Desire. They put 40 and the balloon numbers. No, but I mean, I don't hide my age.
Right.
But I was just like, really? Like,
so large. And they got a little table.
As soon as you walked in, it was right there. As soon as you walked in, I was like, 40 now? Right. I was like, okay. Yeah. But I mean, I had guys that never even met me before tipping me 20s. One guy gave me $100.
Just because you're
like,
especially if you're older too.
Yeah, I walked out of that bitch with like a good close to $2,000 that night.
Right.
I was like, okay.
We don't look our age too, so people are always
listen.
And that is because I started when I was a little bit older. Like I didn't really have. I already could read people. I already I wasn't getting duped. By anybody.
Yeah.
So I think that helped a lot, and I was smart enough to know, like, I'm going to get money this way.
Yeah,
I'm going to get, and I'm going to tell them exactly how old I am.
I was going to bring this up because, it's rare. Riley never did drugs. Never. Never dibble dabbled in them. Never tried them. She was straight drinker.
Right.
She came in 10 toes down.
Right.
She didn't let any bullshit deter her, distract her. It was crazy. I think you were like one of like 5 girls that I have met so far that like literally
it was a job at the end of the day.
Hasn't done anything. Because most of us come in young, dumb, and full of cum.
Right.
Or want to be full of cum.
And I don't like that because I made plenty of terrible decisions when I was young. I just didn't do it on the stage or in the club. Really when it comes down to
like you said, you came in later in the game.
Right. I was in my late 20s when I started.
I came in at 17.
Right. And I know plenty of girls who did. Some of them, I mean, you're one of the not lucky because you worked that way, but not everybody approached it the same way you did or handled it the same way you did, and they didn't end up successful.
Yeah.
In many ways. And the club I started at too. I'm glad people always like you was there. I was, but I started there and I was grateful because it taught me right away the things to look for in a club that I didn't want to see anymore. I went to certain clubs where you audition or you've been working there a little bit, you're still new. You don't know anybody or anything. And the customers come up to you and they, proposition you for whatever, and they want to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So now I know I don't want to work in this club because girls do that here. If they're comfortable enough asking me, then I know that the girls do that. Yeah. So y'all will not see me walk back in through. Right. Don't put me on the schedule. Right. Don't forget I was never even here. Yeah. Erase that music. Don't let nobody else listen. Yeah. I feel you. Yeah. So, you were one of the few that worked in city clubs too, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You weren't afraid to venture out into a city club. No. I think you really you have to approach everything for what it is. Yeah. I'm obviously more comfortable in the small clubs. Hey, Nick. You're late. Yeah, you definitely have to find what works for you. I know a lot of the girls, especially now, the idea of what a stripper is you wouldn't look at me and say that I'm a stripper or I was a stripper, because I'm not going to make BBLs and that's what you have to do to be successful in a lot of especially in the city clubs. You have to do that. Oh yeah. So I always approach all of those bigger ones as a temporary thing. I got enough to pay my fee. I'm gonna go in here. I might work maybe only 3 shifts for them ever in the history of time. Yeah. But I know I'm gonna make money on those shifts. Right. I know I will, or I'm not gonna go. Now, did you find it when you went to the city clubs? Did you find it that it would have been easier for you to have like one of your homies with you, or were you comfortable enough to run that city club by yourself? I kind of always been pretty much by myself, so that's what I was used to. Yeah. And a lot of times I will tell guys like I'm gonna be here, come hang out. Yeah. You know what I mean? And their sole purpose they knew was to just keep an eye on. Right. They're having a good time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Do whatever you're gonna do, but hey, this is where I'm gonna be at, and it'd be real cool if you want to come. Right. So if I was truly kind of nervous about it, most of the time I wasn't. Clubs have security, Yeah. And nobody gonna do nothing to me. Well, that's the thing. When I went to other clubs, like I traveled in my younger years, right? If I didn't get a good feel from the security, I'm out of there. I wasn't. Yeah, I'm out of there. Yeah, I didn't care if I was with my homegirls or not. Right. I'm like, y'all can go in there, y'all want to. The very first place I worked at, I knew it was gonna be alright because I knew the security guard from school. I walked up with my little big huge duffel bag. I don't even know what it had in it. Now that I'm thinking back to this day, like what was I auditioning with all that stuff for? But I had a whole big huge duffel bag, and I walked in. He was like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm working. I'm about to audition." Right. I was like, "What do you think about this song?" Right. And he was like, and he refused to watch me anytime I got on stage for the whole time I was working there. But I knew he had my back. That was respectful. Yeah. I was like, "Yeah." So, speaking of that, did your family know that you danced? So not at first. I think that's how we all start out. Yeah, because how do you tell them, right? And I would say some members of my family, I think it's like at this point of the don't ask, don't tell situation. Yeah. It's just never ever spoken of. I'm pretty sure my mom, she definitely knows. She don't really have nothing to say about it. Yeah. And I don't really listen to it. Yeah. But they didn't like disown me or anything. Right. They weren't like completely, utterly disrespectful. No, but they don't. Right. But they don't like. Yeah, they didn't like come way out of line. Yeah. Like one person did, but also that person wasn't in your life. Well, but they weren't in their own best space. Gotcha. So I know that affected how they did everything, including how they spoke to me about what I was doing. So really, at the end of the day, the people who needed to know knew. I never kept a secret. But it was like a don't ask, don't tell. Pretty much. You don't ask me, I won't tell you. Oh, yeah, gotta go to work. That's all you need to know. Yeah. Here's the bill. Yeah. That's really it. What can you say? As long as you get the money, it's not illegal what I'm doing. Technically, I'm not putting myself in danger. Yeah. I'm working. How can you complain? When my mom found out, I was like, come up here. Right. I was like, come see what I do. Right. If you don't like it, I won't do it. Right. And we were lucky enough, we were full bikini. We didn't take anything off. Right. So my mom was like, you were at the beach. Right. Yeah. I was like, yeah. And it was so funny because like my mom in the beginning, she was like, she would come at, my mom came to the club a lot. Right. Like everybody knew my mom. Yeah. But I remember the first time she came in and like she ever see me dance. And this is when like I was like pulling my ass off. Right. My mom was like, that's my daughter. Right. I was like, Mom, right. I'm not in 5th grade on the football field in the cheerleader outfit. Right. You don't celebrate your daughter being a stripper. My mom never came to the club. She did come when the studio had like a little showcase kind of thing, like a recital basically. Yeah. She came to that, but then she kept this is what I paid for dance class. I'm like, well, because you know what? I think once your family sees
what you do.
Right.
It's honestly, especially girls like us, because we're pullers.
Right.
It's an art. Yeah. Like, don't you dare sit in my mom's face and call me a stripper.
Right.
Because she will cuss you the fuck out.
Right, we're dancing.
She was like, no, my daughter is an exotic dancer.
That's right.
She's an entertainer. And she will put on a show.
That's what I do. Yeah.
And she will run you for your pocket.
Right. Right.
My mom will run that down to you.
Right. And that's how it should be.
Yeah. And my sister, I have a sister call me when we do talk. Yeah. My sister called me one day. She's like, I got this clown ass nigga talking about you won't run him forever. I was like, bro.
As soon as you walk in the door, I know.
Like,
as soon as you walk in the door, I already know.
I'm not even gonna say anything.
Right.
I'm gonna let you come in.
Right. And
we'll go from there.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
But I love the fact that my family was supportive.
Right.
I love the fact that I had no one that I'm aware of, no one in my family that had a genuine issue with it.
Right. I mean, if anybody had an actual issue, they never brought it to me.
That's what I was gonna say.
I've always very much been like on my own. You know, like I've always been the one. I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, and that's just.
I've never been on my own, but I've always been the girl, but the one in the family. Like I'm gonna do what I want to do. That's like I don't know, tell y'all. Right.
Oh, I'm a dog groomer now. So
yeah, you were doing that before you left, right?
Right. So when I started, I was just a bather at first, and that was at the point where I was kind of like, I need something with some paychecks, you know, kind of get in my own place and get my shit together. So I just happened to find a job on Indeed. It was a bather / receptionist, and then after like 6 months of doing that, I was still at the club for at least a year and a half. You know, once I started grooming. So I was doing that, and I was like, I'm watching them groom. I was like, I could definitely do that. Yeah. So I started Googling, like, how much can I make, and, you know, what the prospect for a career is. I talked to my boss, and she taught me how to groom, and I've been doing that ever since. Cool. So, yeah, I really like it a lot. Yeah. And I'm good at it.
I know, you were doing that. You spoke when you came into work, you would talk about how much you liked it.
Yeah, and I still do. I still like it.
And you started
work a regular job.
Yeah, but you started shifting hours from dancing to that. So that's when I knew you found something that you, because at this time I was managing. Right. So I knew you found something
it did work out. Like I had a rough patch when I started like grooming what we would consider full time, and I wasn't bathing anymore. But by then I was barely dancing anymore. Yeah. So by then, like, and that's the only time where I was like, oh, I'm broke right now. Like, I don't like this at all. Yeah. But then grooming picked up, you know, like with any skill, you have to get better at it. Yeah. So I went from doing $2 a day, now I do 8. I do all kinds, like, I can do
you dye their hair and shit?
I can, yeah. I've dyed a tail.
What's the weirdest, like, request you've had?
A lot of people say, like, just shave out the mats, which is a terrible idea. Because usually if you shave out just the mats, that leaves like just the hair in the back. Right. And then it looks like one of those ornaments.
A rock star.
Like, put your chair, you put your feet up on, and they look like that.
Right.
I do a lot of mohawks. People request mohawks a lot.
So speaking of weirdest things, so we're almost coming to our time. Right. Speaking of the weirdest thing in your grooming, what's the weirdest dance or uncomfortable dance or what's your anything like in the dance world?
I would say the weirdest thing. People always ask me this. Is like my story. There's a customer who was referred to as the panty drinker.
I don't remember. Was this on our club?
No, okay. Okay. But so what he would do is he would come in like a thief in the night. You know what I mean? Like he would pick whoever he would. Like before it happened, I didn't know who he was. Right. And after it happened, I never saw him again. So he would come in, whoever he, I guess, picked, that he would get a VIP with you. So he came up to me and he was like, I want to do a VIP with you. Go change your underwear and bring the old one back. Right. And he gave me a 50 right then to do that before we even started the dance. Okay. I said, well, shit, all right. I got change anyway. Right. You know? So I did that. And then we went back to the VIP. And, you know, you have your drinks. So he took the panties and he put them into his drink. And then he sat and drunk it.
Just like let it soak?
Yeah. like, and just sat there, just like me and you were talking for the rest of the VIP,
and drank it, slowly drank it.
That was it.
No, listen.
No,
not doing that, saying like girls' vaginas are gross.
Right.
It's just, I'm thinking like this. Like, dude, I've been sweating at these.
Oh yeah.
I've been like,
but that's what they like.
Like, I've had
that's
these on because we were the same. We changed a lot, and I tell people this: like, don't ever trust a dancer that doesn't change more, at least once an hour.
Right.
Don't trust that bitch.
Right. Right.
Because she don't wash her clothes.
Right.
But I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, I've danced. If you came in at if you came in at 11 and I just changed at 10,
right?
I danced three songs.
Yeah.
Well, 3 sets at least, depending on how many girls.
Right.
But then I've probably done 3 or 4 couch dances, maybe 1 VIP, maybe 2.
Right.
And then I've been sitting at the bar with my legs crossed, waiting on
cooking
my next thing. Cooking.
Cooking. But they like that though. That's what I'm learning. That's what I learned that night. That's what I learned that night is like, and I think that's part, because to this day, I don't know why he picked me, right? Not that it was just because I'm attractive. There were, plenty of girls to choose from. I don't know why he picked me, but I think he picked me because I had just got down from a stage set. I had just got down from a stage
that
set,
nasty shit.
And he wanted, for sure, he did. That's the weirdest thing that ever happened to me. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So what was your very first VIP like?
Oh my God, scared shitless.
Right.
So when I first started dancing, I literally got on stage and went and sat down.
Right.
I didn't talk to anybody. Literally, I would get on stage and guys would be like, "Excuse me," I'd be like,
right.
Don't touch me." It was. It's not that it grossed me out.
Right.
It was that I just wasn't comfortable, and I didn't really get into dancing for any particular reason.
Right.
I literally. Now, things end up falling, I always say things happen for a reason. So I was at Del State's homecoming with a bunch of friends, and most of my friends are guys.
Right.
And they were like, "Oh, let's go to the strip club." And I'm like, "Where has a fucking strip club?"
Right.
And they're like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, I'm not 21 yet. And they're like, "Just get your fake ID." I'm like, "Oh, shit, I do."
Right.
So we go in. And of course, even when you have a fake ID, you still not try to show it.
Right.
So like we legit sat. So classic Hardwire, same club.
Yeah.
So by the door, that corner, as soon as you come around the entrance, there, that's where we all sat.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, the bathroom was all the way across the front of the thing.
Right.
So, you know me, I wear my heels all the time. I think I carry myself well every day.
Right.
So I got up to use the bathroom, and I get halfway back, and I get like bun fart. And when I tell you, like, I was like in the middle of like a sausage fest.
Right.
It was the owner, the guy that ran the girls, the DJ, the bouncer, and I'm like, they're like, "Are you a dancer? Do you dance?" And I was like, "Don't ever fucking disrespect me like that."
Right.
Like, do
you see any pasty tassels anywhere?
I want to rip my pearls.
Right.
Then I went back and told my homeboys, and I was like, "What they all running?" Like, we was about to get up, and I'm like, "Nah, they wanted me to dance," and they're like, "Bitch, go shake hands!" And I'm like, y'all family, y'all blood, like not really blood, but I'm like, no.
Right.
And then I sat there and thought about it for a minute, and as I'm watching the girls, I'm like, damn, they get bread. Now, mind you, I'm a little 17-year-old girl.
Right.
Now, I know about money and all that just from dealing with the drug dealers and all that shit like that. And I said to the bouncer and the guy that ran the girls ended up like standing at the door, and I knew they were standing there to try to trying to convince me. And I was like, "Listen, you give me another shot of Henny or two, I might get up there."
Right.
So next thing I know, here comes the owner with 3 shots of Henny.
Well, guess what we have to sell here.
So I took them 3 shots back to back, got on stage, killed it. But when I wasn't expecting it to be what it was because I didn't stay and really watch everything. You know, I got my money in, like, let's go out.
Right.
That's my number. But yeah, So Crystal finally comes over to me and she's like, "What are you doing?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Nothing." She said, "That's the fucking problem." She's like,
same
"Get
conversation
your ass."
with me.
She's like, "Get your ass the fuck up off your shoulders and go get that money."
Right.
And I'm like,
right.
And I like literally shadowed her for the rest of that night.
Yeah.
And she was passing her customers off to me.
Right.
Because she knew she was going to get her money anyway.
Right.
So unfortunately, one of them wanted a VIP with me. Well, I'm sorry, they weren't really VIPs back then.
Right.
They were, but they weren't closed off.
Right.
Should I say?
Yeah.
So I got back there and I literally was just like,
right. What else do you do? Right. Yeah, you run out of ideas.
I didn't want to open my legs. Like, I didn't want to, like, because I know I didn't stink or anything, but I was thinking to myself, like, what if I smell? Like, what, like, and I didn't want to get too close. And then I was like, if his dick gets hard and posing in the butt, I'm going to freak out. Right, I was brand new to this.
Yeah.
So, like, it was, to me, for him, it was bad.
Right.
To me, I thought I was like, I knew I didn't do it like good, but I thought in my mind like it was okay.
Yeah.
But
right.
But no, he went out to Crystal and he's like, she was good.
Right.
So I felt like they set it up.
Probably. But
he was like, she was good. Right. He was like, she's got to get
the first one knocked out of the way. Yeah.
Girl, by my fourth one, I was like,
right.
You like that?
Right. It says what? Where you draw a line as far as what you would do for money? That's I guess a good question. But realistically, as human beings, everything has a price.
How do you become a cheerleader?
Or maybe work at cheerleaders? I don't
know. I was a cheerleader in high school.
I was too.
There is a club called Cheerleaders in PA. I've never worked at.
I never worked there either.
But anyway, next question. Y'all gotta learn how to type correctly because this is what. Where do you draw the line as to what you would do for money? Listen, I tell everybody, as a dancer, we've all done something we weren't supposed to do for money. Whether it was showing the kitty cat, somebody feeling on the kitty cat, something. We've all done it.
And my general rules for dances were always don't put nothing in me, and I'm not gonna put nothing in you. Once you tell them that, people know where the line is drawn.
I tell them, unless I invite you in, don't do nothing.
Right. But really, everybody has a price, and if you say you don't, you lying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you say you don't, you lying. Yeah. People can say it's a respect thing. I absolutely respect myself, and that's why I don't lay down with trash men.
But this is another thing I say. I would rather sell my ass than stand on the corner and beg for money.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I would. And I would rather go into a strip club than stand in a corner and beg for money.
Yeah, I always tell people I'll never be broke. I won't ever. I can't allow myself to be broke. I'll go in the club.
Yeah, but definitely everybody has a price.
Yeah.
Everybody has a price.
Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and play how much would it cost you to suck a dick game? I'm not gonna do that. That's stupid.
No.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Trust me, we get those questions like, "Oh, I'll give you $3,000. Would you suck my dick?" Or, if I gave you $2,000, would you do this? Like,
and if they're saying that, they don't got it anyway. So don't matter.
Unless I told this one guy, I was like, if you got it and you put it on the bar right now, I'll walk out with you right now.
That's it. And they never can.
Never did it.
They never can. They never do.
Never could. But I agree with you. Everybody has a price.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's a lot of things you could be doing instead of standing in a corner and with a sign begging for money.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Or on online scamming people for Cash App scams.
If you're a woman and you have a cooter cat and you got boobies, you can go to any strip club and get a job.
I was told that this tells you too about the sexualization of women in general. I was told something very similar to that when I was not even old enough to graduate high school yet. Before I could even drive, I had a grown man tell me, and not in a, it is something, he told me something sexual, but it was not in a sexual way.
Right.
He was not hitting on me or anyway. He just literally told, because we were talking about like what we want, basically what we wanted to be when we grew up, or whatever it was, this, that, and the other. And this old man who had probably had too many beers that night, my friend's dad, was like, he's like, girl, looking the way you do, and being the way you are, you and what you have, you will never be poor.
Right. Absolutely.
And
you said it correctly.
He wasn't lying to me. He wasn't lying to me.
Okay, so we're gonna finish off with this last question, and then I have one more question for you before we go. Is it hard having a relationship being in the business? Absolutely.
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 I want to say it's almost. I don't want to say it's impossible.
It's almost impossible.
And because, it's almost impossible.
It's almost impossible.
Unless that person is also in the industry.
Exactly. I was just about to say.
Unless that person is also in the industry, it's not. Yeah, it's not possible. Even when I was teaching pole, and even at certain points when I was single and dancing, you can tell they treat you different as soon as you tell them that you're a dancer. Then they be like, "Oh, you're gonna give me a lap dance?" Like if I told you I cut hair, I don't want to cut your hair for free
or
either.
It turns into, oh well, has my homeboy been in there? Right. I know my homeboy been in there.
Right.
You give him a dance, or you do anything with him? We just spoke. I don't know. Ricky must not have been here when we were talking earlier about that. But I have the issue when it's, because I always let it be known I'm a dancer. Right. When I was dancing, I'm a dancer. Yeah. It irritates me when it turns into, oh, I don't care. I don't have a problem with that. Right. And then 2 months, 3 months down the line, it's a whole issue.
I'm jealous.
Why you getting home this time?
Right.
You normally get home at 1:30. What you doing coming home at 2?
Right.
I can't stop and get gas and stop and get some chicken and get a drink.
We're definitely gonna stop at Rural Farms.
Always gotta get the Rural Farms chicken
or the Wawa soup.
Or I can't stop my grandma. We even come home.
Right. Like, what if we were just talking and bullshit and we was having a good time? So we had a good night and was making money. Because how many times did that happen?
I was dating a dude that used to call the club every 2 hours to see if I was there. I got to the point where I was like, tell him I'm not here.
Right.
And then he would pop up at the club. Yeah. Like, I want you to look dumb.
Yeah.
I want you to look dumb.
Right. Because why you putting so much energy? Like, that's what I won't understand. That all the energy put into the mistrust, like,
it's horrible. It's horrible.
I'll never get
So we're gonna end with this question.
Yeah.
And this has been my end question since the feature.
All right, I'm ready.
What would you tell your younger self now?
Put myself out there a little bit more. Don't be afraid to step even further. I think that's what I now I tell myself, like, yo, look at all the things you've done. Like, you could have done even more. If you would have made a different decision or not hesitated. And also do what you want to do. Because the people who tell you things different than what you want to do, right? Be you, right? Be you. And just really own it. Nobody can do it like you can, no matter what it is.
Absolutely. I agree. Thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
I still wish I had so much more time. But
you can do a part.
I was going to say, there's some people that I think I'm going to bring back because I think there's some stuff that we just didn't. Because once we start talking, we go into other things. I think we got the good gist. And she's been in the business for she was in the business for 4 years.
Right. Yeah. Once COVID hit, I haven't touched anything since then.
So this was her intake on a 4 years. Yeah. It's a short time. It's a long time, but a short time.
Right.
So I appreciate you and thank you. And I hope this isn't going to be the last time that we see each other.
No, not at all.
And hang out and
shake our butts with our cool.
Yes. Yeah. No, seriously, because I feel like, once you leave the club, people go in their opposite, and I mean it's life, right? But I think we had a genuine friendship, and I definitely don't want to lose that, especially with sitting here talking to you again. It's good show.
Thanks, Ryan.
Nixon, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, man.
Thank you all for joining us. I see I had a good 10 or more people in the room at a time.
Like, subscribe,
yes.
follow,
make sure you like,
share, all the things you can do.
Yes. And you know what I always say, make sure to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. And do not forget, ladies and gentlemen, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth. And you will live a prosperous life. See you guys.